Welcome back to IntyCenter 1957. We've got our beer. We've got the 2023 World Series on, and we are going to give you another whip around Fadus. And this week, we are going to start with a 2-run home run in the top of the ninth that put Stone Temple Seattle Pilots up 4-2 on the Bandwagoners. But, and this is the one I posted in the thread, it was a 2-run homer from Lou Gehrig in the bottom of the ninth to tie it back up. We'd need extra innings, and in the bottom of the 10th, it'd be a 1-out walk-off solo homer from Bryce Harper. That means it's a 5-4 win to the Bandwagoners. We'd also get plenty of drama out in Denver. Down to their final out, the Zodiac Guardians get a 2-run homer from Albert Pujols to tie it up and send it to the extras 5-5. We'd stay there for quite a while, as it wouldn't be until the 13th inning when we get another run. But we'd get 3 of them as Pete Rose hits a walk-off 3-run homer. That gives the Zodiac Guardians their first win since the Grant administration. Hey, not quite as dramatic, but with the specter of chasing the playoffs behind it, it probably felt like it. Dizzy Dean and Satchel Paige had us tied at 2. The Demonbags giving up 2 in the 5th to answer 2 in the 4th that they scored off the Amazings. It was a 2-out single from who else? Cleveland's own, followed by a double from David Ortiz that puts the Demonbags up 3-2. Page sets him down in order in the 9th, and he gets the win. From the 2nd through the 9th inning, Scott Stratton gave up no runs to performance enhancers. But he gave up 4 in the 1st, including a 3-run homer from Larry Walker. That was enough thanks to a complete game from Guy Hecker with 1 run allowed on 11 hits. A wasteful night for a shack of their own. They fall to the enhancers 4-1. Madrigal, they might want to rethink that opener bullshit in the year of our Lord John Montgomery Ward 1957. Zach Greinke faced 9 batters, gave up 4 hits and 2 walks. Not great, Bob. Wilson Reedus had a 2-run single off Greinke as part of a 3-run first, and Game of Throws tops Madrigal 4-2. Jose Ramirez hits a pair of 2-run homers. Bob Gibson tosses a 7-hit shutout. Sithi of Ostenard win yet again. They top Gale of November 5-0, and will stick with Sithi to start the second game of this set. They give up a quick 2-0 lead to the Gales. Luis Arraez got an RBI single in the 2nd, and Josh Gibson scores on a throwing error by Earl Averill in the 3rd. But a George Davis RBI double in the 5th had the lead, and a Johnny Mize pinch hit double in the 7th tied it up at 2. In the 8th, who else could it be for this team? Jose Ramirez leads off the inning with a homer. I'm sure Sean has employed Tom Hamilton as his broadcaster in 1957. I'm sure he was going nuts on the call. Smokey Joe sets down the Gales in order in the 9th, and Sithi wins that one 3-2. As for the team that they're chasing for that final spot, the Demonbags got off to a great start. They went up 1-0 on a sac fly from Cleveland's own Big Ed Delahunty. They made it 4-0 thanks to, well, I think you know who did this one. Cleveland's own with a 3-run blast that goes into Lake Erie. Yeah, I know this game was being played far from Lake Erie. I don't care. He hit the home run that far. Amazings, though. Amazings get a 5 spot in the top of the 4th, including a solo homer from Dan Brothers and a 2-run triple from Joe Cronin. Al Rosen would lead off the bottom of the inning with a solo home, making it 5-5. We'd stay there, but the D-Bags get a leadoff single in the bottom of the 8th from Ketel Marte. He gets replaced on the base pass from Al Rosen on a fielder's choice. Tuck Turner gets a pinch hit double that scores Rosen. The D-Bags go up 5-4. That's enough. Slim Jones retires the Amazings in order in the bottom of the 9th, and it's a 5-4 win for the Demonbags. Now, after losing for 2 weeks straight, the Zodiac Guardians won their 2nd game in a row. They get a 5-run 2nd inning, and they beat Let's Play 2 9-5. Terry Turner had 3 hits, and Garfield the Cat, or the president, or the center fielder, I don't know what the fuck he is. He had 3 ribbies, though. Shack of their own beat the enhancers 5-3. And perhaps we were too harsh on the opener strategy deployed by Madrigal because they used a traditional opener or a traditional starter in second game against Game of Thrones, and they got their asses whooped. Ernie Lombardi had 4 hits and 4 ribbies. He had a homer as well. Game of Thrones win that one 14-8, a big win for the Kings of the North. And how about Stone Temple Seattle Pilots pitching? Dave Brown, he was a 1-out single from Kenny Lofton in the bottom of the 6th, away from a no-hitter. He settles for a 1-hit shutout. Bandwagoner starter Kevin Brown takes the hard luck loss. He gives up 1 run in 8 innings. The Pilots win that one 2-0. And then in our finale, it was the bats for Stone Temple Seattle Pilots against the Bandwagoners, and it was one bat in particular. That was the bat that belonged to Heavy Johnson. He had 4 hits. 2 of them were doubles. 1 of them was a homer. He drove in 5 runs. They walloped the Bandwagoners 10-2. Larry Walker, Mike Schmidt, Eddie Collins, they each homered, and the Enhancers beat a shack of their own 5-1. Walter Johnson gave up just 1 run on 8 hits against Game of Thrones. Red Faber was standing by, but it turns out he was standing by for a hard luck loss as he gives up 2 runs on 7 hits. And the Family Madrigal win that one 2-1. Let's Play 2 got RBI singles from Hank Aaron and Frank Thomas in the top of the 9th. They take a 7-5 lead. And Aaron Judge RBI single with 2 outs makes it 7-6. But Mark McGuire flies out to end the game. Let's Play 2 doesn't get swept. They win the finale against Zodiac Guardians 7-6. We'll end looking at our 2 teams in that playoff chase for the final spot, and they both seem to be surging. The Demonbags score 1 each in the first, second, and fourth innings. They grab a 3-0 lead. And Fernando Valenzuela keeps Amazings off balance and off the scoreboard through 5. But in the 6th, it's a leadoff walk issued to Joe Morgan and a Wade Boggs 2-run homer to make it 3-2. Amazings would get their first 2 runners on base in the 8th, and they would load the bases with 2 outs despite a Boggs double play. But Valenzuela keeps them off the board. And then in the 9th, Ty Cobb with a 2-out single. Wee Willie Keeler follows the single of his own. But the game ends when Cobb is thrown out at third by Ken Griffey Jr., trying to stretch it to go first to third. Demonbags hang on for that thrilling 3-2 win. So could the team chasing them continue to keep pace? Jose Ramirez does his part again. He hits a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 1st. That's his 4th consecutive game with a homer. That ties him for the longest streak so far this season. That puts Sithi up early, and they lead 5-1 entering the 9th. But noted Sithi villain Ron Santo hits a 3-run homer with 1 out. That brings the Gales within 5-4. Hall of Famer Rod Carew, he converted, followed with a single to put the tying run on base, and Cool Papa Bell was sent out to pinch run. But Bell stays on first with a fly out from the pinch-hitting Robinson Cano and a ground out from Luis Arraez. That ends the game, gives another win to Sithi. They keep pace, and they stay just 1 game out in the chase for that final wild card spot. That's going to do it for IntyCenter this time. We'll see you next time for another whip around, Fidus, and hopefully another beer.